Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video is going to be one that has been circling the beauty community on YouTube for a little bit, and it's the if I lost all my makeup, what are the first 10 items that I would replace in my collection? So I'm approaching this from what do I need to get through my day and what's going to make me the most happy with my makeup, which for me is going to be heavily palette focused. But let's start off with the basics, and sadly I am somebody that has to use 2 eyeshadow primers. One will not work on me. I know I've mentioned this ad nauseum before, but I keep getting new viewers, so they may not necessarily be aware of this. But it doesn't matter what brand I use for eye primers, I have to use 2. So I would honestly just go out to the drugstore and grab whatever eyeshadow primers or the cheapest. And right now I'm using 2 ones by Essence that work really well together. This is the Essence I Heart Color Intensifying Eyeshadow Base, and this one is Essence's 2-in-1 eyeshadow and primer. I have used Milani's, I have used all kinds of different eyeshadow primers. I would just have to unfortunately go out and buy 2 different ones to use them together. And the way I do this is I use one first, let that dry, and then apply the second one, and then let that dry, and then I go on to eyeshadow. But sadly, I can't avoid buying 2 eye primers because one will not work anymore, and it's so depressing, but like there we have it. So eyeshadow primer eats up 2 from my 10. The next 3 items are total staples in my collection, and I really just can't be without them. So my number 3 product is going to be a brush tip liquid pen style eyeliner. Right now I'm using the Physicians Formula Eye Booster and I really like it, but if I had to pick one and one only for like as the product that I would buy, I'd probably go with the Art Deco High Precision liner. I think I like it a little bit better than the Eye Booster, but that one is like $20 more expensive than this one. So really any brush tip liquid pen style applicator would be the one I would want to get, just because I always really like a winged liner and it really completes my eye look. And 4th product, have to get a brow pencil. I just really don't have eyebrows. So if I do the rest of my makeup and I don't do my eyebrows, I look really bizarre. So NYX's Micro Brow in Taupe. This has been a staple for me for years. I have like 8 backups, I think, right now, because I bought a ton at IMATS Toronto last year and I'm just working my way through them. So NYX's Micro Brow in Taupe for my eyebrows for sure. And sadly, I'm not blessed with dark lashes, so I definitely have to pick up a mascara. And the one I've been really loving and is a favorite of mine of all time is Essence's The False Lashes Mascara Dramatic Volume Unlimited. I love this because it stays quite wet for a long time. I've been using this, I think, like 4 months now, and it has no signs of drying out whatsoever. So one of the reasons why I like this one so much, aside from the wet formula, is that it has a conical wand, and it's just the right size for my eyes. I really don't like large brushes, so I want something that's tapered, relatively small, and just works really well. And for me, that's this Essence one. I also like Maybelline's Last Sensational Luscious Full Fan Effect Mascara. So I could go either way. I could get this one or I could get that one, but this just happens to be the one I have open right now, so that's why I'm showing you this one. Okay, so those products were the bare necessities to look like I've got makeup on. The next few items are all palettes, because palettes are the most important thing in makeup to me, and if I'm not using an eyeshadow palette or using eyeshadow really, I'm not having fun with my makeup. So these all have a really special place in my heart, and I would want these if I had no makeup whatsoever. So the first one I'm going to mention is actually a highlighter slash eyeshadow palette, and that's Kat Von D's Alchemist Holographic Palette. I use this so much every single week. I use this primarily as a cheekbone highlighter, but this can double as an eyeshadow palette if needed. They are pretty plain looking if you're just looking at it on camera, but these all have basically like a tint of color to them. So we have a green one here, a blue one here, a purple, and a pink, and they've all just got kind of like that reflect of color. You can use it on your inner corner, use it as a highlight, which again is what I tend to do. And these are wonderful products. I've mentioned before that I'm kind of bored with normal colored highlighters. I much prefer something like this that has a color that's kind of special, kind of unique. So if I had no makeup, I would run out and get this again for sure. The next palette is a combo face palette, and it is the Too Faced Sweet Peach Glow palette. So the reason that this is so nice is that it's got a blush, bronzer, and highlighter all in one. And I know I just talked about the fact that I really like different colored highlighters, but sometimes the occasion does call for something a little bit more natural, and this one right here is beautiful. Also, the fact that it's got a bronzer and a blush in here, and this blush is my favorite shade of blush, is what makes this palette really, you know, necessary for me. So I wouldn't necessarily run out and buy all kinds of bronzers and all kinds of blush if I was gonna rebuild my collection again. I think I would definitely stick with this one just to start, because while, you know, variety is nice, these fundamentally are the colors that I go for in a bronzer and a blush. So, you know, kind of killing two birds with one stone there, or three birds, one stone. The last three items are fully just eyeshadow palettes, and it was honestly kind of hard to narrow it down to which ones I would go back out and buy, because I use a lot of my palettes and I cycle them through constantly, and I'm often reaching for different ones for different reasons. But I think these are the most important ones to me, I think. So first one, Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. The primary reason why I went for this palette is because it has so many red eyeshadow colors, and I wear a lot of red eyeshadow when I want to like showcase my eyes. Because they're blue, the red will contrast with it and really make it pop. I love red eyeshadow and I can't be without it, and this palette has basically three of them. One of them's a little bit more pink, but it is still that kind of like red tone color that I'm looking for. Plus the fact that this has a ton of neutrals in here that really make a really good eyeshadow look. I don't think I've ever put a look together with this palette and not liked it. So for that reason, the colors in here are super important to me, as is the formula. So I definitely go back out and buy the Modern Renaissance again. And then the next one I would get, the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. I talk about this thing a lot, and it's with good reason. It's because I keep going back to these colors. I really like peach on my upper crease area. I feel like it adds something to a look. And the mix of the colors in here are all mostly warm toned, which is what I tend to prefer in eyeshadow. And again, much like the Modern Renaissance palette, whenever I put a look together using this palette, I'm always happy with it. And also it's Too Faced, which makes me happy. And the smell of this palette is unreal. Like, this is probably my favorite scent that Too Faced has ever put out. And it's the same for the Sweet Peach Glow palette. It really makes me happy when I'm doing my makeup and I can smell this Sweet Peach palette. So I would really want this again in my collection. And the last item that I would go out and buy is one that is limited edition, but it's available right now. So I mean, if this happened tomorrow, I could just go and buy it. And it's another Too Faced palette. I've talked about this one a lot as well recently, and it's the Life's a Festival palette. And I chose it because this has a ton of bright colors, and there's not a lot of bright eyeshadow palettes on the market that you can get like easily. Some of them are, you know, hard to find, or they're limited edition, and this one is available right now, and it's got the whole rainbow in here. So that would make me really happy, because I really prefer bright eyeshadow colors, and I need a palette that's gonna kind of fulfill that. So for that reason, I chose the Life's a Festival palette. I know I've mentioned this probably in like 5 or 6 videos at this point since it came out, but it's that good, and I just keep going back to it. So those are my 10 products. Did you notice what was not in here? There's no foundation. I would never go out and buy foundation if I was missing eyeshadow palettes. There is no way. I just would not bother with it. And there's no lipstick. I just don't think lipstick is that important to me. I would much rather have an eyeshadow palette and then slather on some lip balm, because let's be honest, you might lose all your makeup, but you're gonna find some random lip balm somewhere in your place at some point. So I would rather have a ton of eyeshadow palettes and just apply lip balm, because lipstick, it's fun to play with, but it's definitely not where my heart is in makeup. So those are the 10 items that I would repurchase. Maybe let me know down below what you would go out and buy. Maybe you don't have to list 10, maybe list, I don't know, 4 or 5 items that you feel are absolutely necessary, or you feel kind of like lonely without in your makeup collection. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you next time. Bye!